Okay, so we're on Samech Test 69a in Avodah Zarah. So we discussed the question: if a mouse fell into beer, what if a mouse fell into vinegar? What would be the law? We were discussing all these issues. Now, vinegar has a very strong taste, very sharp taste, and there would be no beneficial flavor from the mouse. So we would think that the vinegar is kosher then, because it's not, you can't taste any taste from the mouse. Similarly, Rav Hillel Rav Ashi Hava Uvda Be Rav Kahana Vasa Rav Kahana. So Rav Hillel told Rav Ashi it happened that the mouse fell into vinegar, and Rav Kahana said the vinegar is not kosher. Marley Hahui Martute Imartat. So Rav Ashi told Rav Hillel that's when the mouse fell into small pieces, it disintegrated because of the strength of the vinegar, and so therefore it spread throughout the vinegar. If the mouse fell in and was removed, then there would be no flavor. Avina Savar L'Shurim Mamei V'Chad Amalai Gar Mitruma Desnan Truma Elabechad Meya. So Ravina thought maybe a mouse is nullified in 101 parts because it's not worse than Truma, because we have a mission in Trumos and in Orla that Truma, the heave offering, is nullified if it's 101 to 1. Amalei, if it's less than 1%. Amalei of Techlifa Bargiz Ravina, Rav Techlifa Bargiz said to Ravina, Dilma the Savlin Shal Truma B'Kadera Dame. Maybe it's like truma spices that fell into a pot to lay bottle tamayo, because the flavor is so strong it doesn't become nullified, and so then even if it's less than 1 in 100, it's not kosher. Well, it's not kosher for a non-kohen. Rav Achai said a mouse could be nullified in 1 in 50 parts per vinegar. And vinegar, Rav Shmuel bar Rav Ika shir b'shichra d'shitin, and Rav Shmuel, the son of Rav Ika, said that if a mouse fell into beer, it would be nullified in 1 in 60 parts. Hilch sayidi v'di b'shitin v'chen kol surin sheb'torah. And the law is that if a mouse fell into vinegar or into beer, it's nullified in 1 in 60, and so too with anything that's not kosher, is nullified 1 in 60th. If it's except for chametz on Pesach, as long as it's mixed with and part of the flavor of the food of a different kind. Min b'sheina minai. Min b'minai is not kosher even in a small amount. We have a new Mishnah. Of course, it's only if it happened by accident. If people want to eat mice, it doesn't help to nullify it into 1 in 60th, into beer or something. It's a new Mishnah. Akum shoyim mavir Yisrael kalayayin imakim l'makim. Here's our Mishnah. There was a pagan who was carrying jugs of wine from one place to another together with a Jew. So it was kosher wine. If the wine we know was kept, guarded, it's kosher. Meaning like has a double seal or something. Or if the Jew is nearby and he can come back at any time. If the Jew said he's going far away, then if there's enough time for the pagan to bore a hole in the cover of the barrel and patch it with clay and for the clay to dry, then it's no longer kosher. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said it's long enough if he would open the cover of the barrel and apply a new cover and for the cover to dry. So that takes a little bit more time. If he left the wine alone in a wagon or a boat, and he went off to take a shortcut, he went in the city to bathe, the wine is kosher. But if he told him that he's going to go far away, then if it's enough time, if he would make a hole and patch it for the clay to dry. Shimon Gamliel says if he would open the cover and put on a new cover for the new cover to dry. The third case, if someone left a pagan alone in the store, even if the Jew leaves and goes in and out, the wine is kosher. If he's going in and out, the wine's kosher. If he told him he's going far away, then it's enough time to bore the hole and patch it in for the drying. When the wheel says to open the cover of the barrel and put a new cover in for the cover to dry. The fourth case, if he was dining together at the same table, if he left a flask of wine on the table and a flask of wine in the cupboard, and he went out and he came back again. The pagan went out and came back. Mashal shulchan aser. Whatever's on the table is not kosher. Shall do ki mutter, but what's in the cupboard is kosher. Malay have a moizig b'shoisa. If he said to him, "Go pour and drink," af shal adul ki aser. Even what's in the cupboard is not kosher. Chavis psuchas asur sumais mutaris. The open barrels are not kosher. The sealed barrels are kosher. Kedei shiiftach v'yagav v'sigof. As long as there's not enough time to open the barrel and put on a new cover for the cover to dry. So the Gemara says, "Heichi dami v'cheskes mishtamer." What's considered that you're sure that it's guarded? The Kedesanya, we learned in the Brisa, Haishahayu chamarav ufayalav tunin taharis. Someone hired a donkey driver to carry pure items, Levitically pure items from place to place. A filo maflig man yosem a mill. Even if he was more than a mill from them, say a mile, it's a little different than a mile, but that's what we'll say. Tarais of taharis, his Levitically pure items remain Levitically pure. V'mamalahan l'chuvani bo'achreichem k'deishis nisal me'enim tarais of tmeis. If he said, "Go in front of me and I'll follow you," as soon as you can't see them anymore, the Levitically pure items are now Levitically impure. Ma'ishna Reisha, Ma'ishna Sefer. What's the difference between the two cases? Rav Yitzchak said, first case where the employer purifies the workers for this purpose, he puts them in a mikveh so they can carry pure items. Yihachi Sefer Tar. So if that's the case, then the last clause should also be pure. Gemara says that an ignorant person is not careful about touching someone else. So even if they're pure, they might have someone else. They might see a friend that's not pure and shake hands with them or something, and then they'll touch the food. Shaking hands is not really the issue, but they might touch the food and make it tamei. If that's the case, so the first clause it should also be impure. Rava said, now we're on Amud Beis, Volahem Derech Kalasein. So maybe they could come all of a sudden in a circuitous route, and they would be surprised. Yachi Sefer Nami. So then the last case should also be pure. Because he said if he told them to go ahead and they're following along, so then they've what to rely on. he's not going to come back right away. So, Hamniach Akum B'chnusay Niach Yenim B'kon Mesvina. What about the case of the store, or the wagon, and the boat? In our Mishnah Tzvicha, why do you have to have all different cases? Itana Akum Savadilma Asi B'chazilei. Because if only was a case of transporting, where the pagan's transporting, he said maybe the Jew's going to see me right away. But with the wagon or the boat, he might think he could steer it far away and he can do whatever he wants. If he just said the wagon on the boat without the case of the transporting by hand, Mishum the Savar Dilma Asibar Chriti. He might think maybe he's going to come back on a different road. He's going to stand on a high wall and he's going to see me. In the case where he left the pagan in the Jew's store, he might say that he could lock the door. Call the boy. He could do whatever he wants. Kamash Malan. So, yep. Take care. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to leave soon. In about 5 minutes. Thank you. Vovid Kabbalah Kamash Malan. He do whatever he wants. So it says no. The wine's still kosher. I'm a Rabbi Baruchana. I'm a Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Chana Sinim Yochanan. Achlek Shel Sid. There's an argument where the lid is plaster, talking about the boring a hole and so forth. But if it's clay, everyone agrees there's enough time to remove the lid and put on a new lid for the lid to dry. Meisvei, so they argued. Amar Shimon Gamliel said to the sages, couldn't you recognize the patch from above or below? Amart, that's where we are. Bishlam shall tit machlekes. If you say that it's a clay lid, that's an argument. So then you could recognize it both above and below. Well, Isa Amart Bishal said machlekes. But if you say it's the plaster lid, that's the argument. Bishlam Mati Yediyah. Then you're going to recognize from underneath a little mala chala Yediyah. But from the top, he's not going to recognize it. So Gemara answers, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, who lo yada my kamar Rabbanan, fa'achi kamar lahu. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel didn't know what the rabbis were saying. This is what he should have said. He b'shel tid kamrisu. If it's a clay lid, you're talking situmanika ben lam mata. Then it's recognizable from above or below. V'ish b'shel sid kamrisu, and if it's plaster, nida l'mala l'yadiyah, l'mata miyadiyah. If it's from above, it's not recognizable, but from underneath, it's recognizable. For abundance, the rabbis say, "Kevin malal yediyah limasik adaite afich v'chazile." So he doesn't think to turn over and look. He namids him in the cholim. So sometimes he could patch the meld uniformly, and so you wouldn't even recognize from the bottom. So Rabbi said, "Halacha k'mishim gamliel hoyel snan stomach v'asei." Halacha is like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel because we have an anonymous Mishnah that follows his opinion. Snan, because we have a Mishnah, our Mishnah. Ha'oichel shulchan imoy v'niach lagen al shulchan lagen al hadubki v'niach v'yatzim mashal shulchan aser mashal hadubki aser muter v'yamar lehevi mazak v'shoisaf shal hadubki aser. Chavis Pesuchis Asuris Sumas Mataris Kadei Shiftach Yagov Sigov. That if he was sitting and dining, the Jew was dining with the pagan, he left a flask on the table in the cupboard, and he left and he went out. What's on the table is not kosher. What's in the cupboard is kosher. And if you would tell him, go pour, even what's in the cupboard is not kosher. Open barrels are not kosher, and the closed barrels are kosher. As long as there's not enough time to open the closed ones and seal them back again. Pshitas, that's obvious. Well, the same with Rabbi Gamliel Katani la Kamash Malan. So you might think the whole last Mishnah was Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, so we're saying no, it's just an anonymous Mishnah. V'chi me'achid ha'kayim alon kosirim Shimon Gamliel lo'yichayish l'sh'uma. So if we hold like from Glumil, we're not worried they're going to make a hole in the barrel because the hole will be recognizable. And the law is like Eliezer, that we're not worried that they're going to forge the seal. My time so why don't we leave the sealed barrels together with pagans? Mishum Shaika. The reason is because they have an air hole, a small hole in the lids of the wine, so the barrel doesn't burst. So he might put a straw in or something like that. And so Marava Zoina Akama Yisrael Masunetzla. If there's a pagan harlot sitting at a meal and Jews are sitting with her, and there's kosher wine there, Chamar Shari, the wine is kosher, Nehida Sakif Lahu Yitzur Devera. You shouldn't assume just because they have Yitzur the Yainesach like Takaf Lahu. Just because they're gonna sin with sexual sin doesn't mean that they're going to sin with eating not kosher. So you could assume that the wine is kosher. It's only Israelis va'akum esubin chamra aser. But if God forbid it's a Jewish harlot with sitting with pagans with the kosher wine chamra aser, the wine's not kosher anymore. My taima, why? Since she made herself cheap in their eyes, she's not going to stand up to them to prevent them from touching the wine. Unfortunate that the Gemara had to discuss such things. Perhaps it was only theoretical, or at least theoretical as far as whether or not, or perhaps it was worse, whatever it is. But that's the Gemara is honest about the failings of humans. All right, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment all the best. Thank you. Oh, this is right. Turn it off right here. All right. How do I turn it off?